What is up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lauriello, and today I'm so excited to bring you guys another episode, this one with the man himself, Mr. Cole Campbell, the 2024 50K national title holder. Cole is on a heater, man. He's had a great 2023 and 2024 season, and it sounds like he's locked and loaded and getting ready for 2025. Cole's got an incredible story. The guy is incredibly mature, and he's a dedicated, very consummate professional, very blue collar, and a very hardworking guy. He and I got along really well. Like I said, he's definitely shaped into one of my favorite people in the sport. He's been fun to follow. He's a quiet guy that is just one of those people that puts his head down and works extremely hard. And with that, I'm so excited to see where his future takes him. We talked a lot about his 2023 and 2024 season. We talked about plans for 2025. He'll actually be gearing up tomorrow to go race the Black Canyon 100K. Then he's got some plans for some sub-ultra stuff as well. We talked a lot about, preparing for a race like Black Canyon, as well as preparing for world's qualifying races like Broken Arrow, and some things like that, and some, potential love and plans to try and make the world's team. We also talked about his formative years. We talked about how he got into the sport. We talked about his time at Western Colorado University underneath the guidance of Josh Eberly. And we talked about his latest deal with Adidas Terrex, where he signed on to be a professional athlete with the Adidas Terrex team for 2025. So yeah, lots to be excited on for Cole Campbell. Really cool guy and just a very exciting character in the sport. Someone we really need to watch out for. He could potentially have a gigantic day tomorrow at Black Canyon, and he's really just getting started. So without further ado, I'm going to stop mumbling and get into the episode. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Cole Campbell.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
People, Earth, listen up. The Steep Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. I am so excited to be partnering with Ultimate Direction in 2025 as the official hydration solutions partner for the Steep Stuff Podcast. Lots of fun things coming down the pike for this year. Ultimate Direction is going to be unveiling a brand new race and ultra vest that's going to be dropping in the next couple of months. So excited to bring that to you guys. If you are in the market right now for apparel, for a belt, for a new pack, anything hydration solutions related, flasks, you name it, they've got it. They've got you covered. If you hop on to ultimatedirection.com and use code STEEPSTUFFPOD, that's one word, STEEP, STEEP, STUFF, STUFF, POD. If you hop onto ultimatedirection.com and use that code, that's going to get you 25% off your cart. Especially that we're starting to wind our way a little bit more closer to spring. You guys are going to be start to put together your race calendars, and Ultimate Direction's going to have you guys covered. So whatever you need, they've got you outfitted from head almost to toe. They don't do shoes yet. So guys, enjoy yourself. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much, and check out Ultimate Direction. Cole Campbell, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks, James. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm excited we finally got to chat and get you on the pod. I know we've been talking about doing this for some months now, and now that I've had some time and Zoom, because I usually do everything in person. So we just moved, and I've been doing more Zoom interviews than usual, just because I'm trying to get the pod studio set up and all these things for the future. And I'm like, you know what? I can get more people on if I do Zoom. So I was like, Cole Campbell, let's do an episode.
Heck yeah.
How's your week? How's your day going?
It's going good. Yeah, just did a little run, shaking out the legs a little bit. I ran a low-key 50K on Saturday, Wilson Creek frozen 50K. So yeah, just kind of shaking out the legs, getting recovered from that, and then yeah, all's good. No
Nice, man.
complaints.
How's the build going for Black Canyon? I saw you were on the start list for it. You're planning on going? Yeah.
Yep. That 50K was like the last big long run stimulus. Is like had about 6,000 feet of climbing in it, so hopefully temper the downhill legs a little bit for Black Canyon. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I ran I'm Tough last fall and haven't done any racing since then, so just kind of slowly building up, and yeah, eyes on Black Canyon.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, let me back it up. I got way too ahead of myself because I as soon as I saw it on the start list, I was like, oh, I got to talk to him about Black Canyon. But let's back it up. Obviously, we introduced you, Cole Campbell. Maybe give a little breakdown on your background, how you got into running, where you're from, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Spring Creek, Nevada. It's just south of Elko, if you've ever been on the 80. But yeah, I grew up here. In high school, I ran cross country, wrestled, ran track. But I started running, I think I was in second grade, but my mom was doing like a fun run 5K. I was like, oh, I want to do that. That sounds awesome. So I ran like a couple miles before, or like I ran a mile several times before the 5K and did the 5K. So that was like my first official race, you know. But it was super cool, and I thought it was fun to run with my mom and just kind of do something that I didn't think that I could. It was only a 5K, but it was like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, but just having that satisfaction and completing something that you're not sure that you're able to. That was pretty cool. But then, yeah, I just started running in high school, and it was pretty cool because it was just like a nice little sanctuary for me to find like-minded people and kind of fit in. And it was really nice to find something that you could work really hard at and improve. So I found a lot of satisfaction in just working really hard and kind of improving year after year. So that was pretty special. Shout out to Todd Mulkey, who's my coach in high school. And that guy was a huge influence in my running career. So props to him. That was really great. But yeah, and then went to College of Idaho for bachelor's degree, got to run cross country, indoor and outdoor track for those guys. And it was a really great experience. I got bachelor's in exercise science, got minors in art history, business, psychology. So it was a fun, not only for the athletics, but just kind of just experiencing different subjects in academia and just kind of exploring some of that. And that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, and then took a year off of school, did some wildland firefighting in between, and then found myself at Western Colorado to get a graduate degree in exercise science. But yeah, that's kind of the rundown, the quick rundown of the last couple of years. But yeah, still running, still enjoying it.
Dude, I love it. I have so many questions. There's so many things I could pull from this. Obviously, we're going to get into the gunny question because you're like gunny adjacent, having gone to Western. And I feel like literally I've had an entire class of people from Gunnison or have gone to Western at some point in time on my podcast. But first, I want to ask you about the firefighting, dude. Like, what kind of experience was that like? I mean, maybe talk a little bit about like what you were doing there and just like what that experience was all about.
Yeah, it was really great. I always thought that I wanted to do something like that. And then, how did it come about? I think my coach from College of Idaho, Alex Ambassador Chia, he called me into the office one day, and he had heard through the grapevine that I was putting in for some hand crews and hotshot crews in Nevada. And I still had a year of eligibility afterwards. It was my junior year that he called me into the office. He said, whoa, like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Like, I don't think you'll be able to train properly over the summer. He said, let me give you a number and you can contact some of the Boise wildland fire crews, and they have some engine modules running out of Boise. So he got me linked up with some good people over in Boise, put in my resume and application and everything, and it all worked out. So I ended up working for the Boise district for 3 seasons. But yeah, it was a super cool experience, man. It's really cool to be on a crew with like-minded individuals, and that element of camaraderie is hard to come by. Yeah, I really enjoyed my time on the cruise, building relationships, working really hard, long hours. It was a pretty special experience. Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh. Like you're probably the only person I've ever talked to that has kind of had a job like that. Like have you like were you in any serious like crazy fires where it's like, you know, this is pretty serious shit, or like was it more tamed down? Like can you talk about maybe some of those experiences?
Yeah, we did a couple off district roles. So the way the Boise district works, I won't get too much into the nitty gritty, but you kind of have a rotation. And as the year goes on, other crews will go off district. And then once it's your time to come up, you'll be able to go off district. And those off district fires are generally bigger fires, a little bit more serious. But we got to go on to the Haldor fire in 2021. And that was probably the biggest. I think that was probably the biggest fire that I've been on, and it was, yeah, it was a big fire. Lots of devastation. Fire was going over, like we just couldn't stop it. And there were so many personnel on that fire; it was crazy. But yeah, sometimes when those fires get going, it's hard stopping them. But yeah, that was probably the biggest fire, and then there's obviously smaller fires on the district, and got to detail out with some good crews over the years as well. So it wasn't always just on the engine, but yeah, it's fun. High adrenaline. So sometimes it's high adrenaline. Sometimes you're just sitting around, but when it's time to go, it's time to go. So yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. So that's kind of what I was kind of digging at is like, so you meet your Ally Max of the world who like jump off of bridges and stuff, like base jumping, right? Is it, and that's very much like an adrenaline thing. Is it like, I'm just curious, like what interested you in that? Like, was it a family member that did anything like that? Or was it more like you met someone, or is it the seeking the adrenaline? Just because it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know necessarily what attracted me so much to it. I mean, growing up in Nevada, you'd always hear about the wildland firefighters, and we have Ruby Mountain hot shots just in our backyard. But yeah, I knew of some friends that had been on crews in the past, and there was always some sort of intrigue. I didn't really know like much about it, and it interested me. I knew that you had to work really hard. I knew you had to be on a crew, so you got to make really great relationships with your crewmates. But yeah, I just kind of wound up in that position. Like, I mean, I wasn't even putting in, when I put in for my applications in Nevada, I wasn't very serious about it. And then when Austin called me into his office, I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I could kind of pursue. So yeah, it just kind of fell into my lap a little bit. But yeah, long days, 16-hour shifts when you're on big fires, 14-day rolls. So you work for 14 days straight, and you get, it used to be 2 days off for R&R, and then you kind of go back to your rotation, or you go back out onto another role for another 14 days, just depending on how schedules line up and what the season's looking like. But yeah, and you work that many hours, you're bound to make a little bit of money. So that's always a plus as well. But yeah.
Dude, so cool. Such a cool job. All right. So one of the things that interested me and why I think you and I are going to get along really well is that you keep bringing up hard work, long days, and just grinding it out kind of. And you seem like one of those just so like hard work kind of guys. And I really appreciate that because you don't meet a lot of people that, want to do the hard work and like seek that out. Right. One of the things you also said to me that was really interesting is that you're a wrestler. Is it like, and I know in combat sports, especially at a young age, it teaches you, a lot of hard work and you have to grind. And if you want to get good, do you think some of that maybe is that where that like hard work mentality comes from, is from like wrestling from back in the day, or?
I think that's definitely part of it. I think that the hard work element was probably instilled into me from a young age from my parents, because those guys are big on hard work. So all the credit in the world for those guys. But yeah, wrestling it's a tough sport. Spring Creek's a pretty small school, so it was encouraged to be like contribute to the school and its athletics and try to do as much as you can. But yeah, we grew up wrestling. My brother and I, we grew up wrestling. I think I started in second grade. He started in kindergarten. But yeah, my parents just wanted us to be as active as we could. So we would. Yeah, it was crazy because we would go from piano lessons up in Lamoille, and we would haul ass down to Spring Creek to get to wrestling practice. So we were just really busy as kids, and it was kind of cool to have that contrast. Like you go from piano practice and then go down the hill and you're wrestling. But yeah, I think that the wrestling is a different beast because your competitor is one person, it's one-on-one type of deal. And everybody's watching you. So I think that sport is a little bit, I always found it to be more high pressure than running. And then running was fun. Is like during the winter we'd wrestle, and then you always look forward to track because you're there and it feels a little bit more individual sport. And you're always pushing yourself. But it was nice because you went from that high pressure atmosphere and then doing something a little bit more lax, or what I found a little bit more lax. And I think it definitely helped with the running because of that pressure and mindset and just kind of being mentally resilient. Yeah, I think it helped for sure.
It's good character building. Like anytime you're choking somebody
absolutely.
out or somebody's choking you out, it's pretty fun, right?
Yep. It's you get humbled a lot, and then you can do a lot of humbling, but you learn a lot about yourself, and like you said, it builds a hell of a lot of character at the same time. Yeah.
What was that like growing up with like a sibling so close in age? Like, were you guys like super competitive with one another? Like, did that help like foster and breed competitiveness in both of you, or was it like a different kind of relationship?
I think to an extent. It was funny because like whenever we would like get in a squall or like be ready to fight or anything, we would just wrestle. So it was a good avenue to kind of direct that negative energy instead of throwing blows and fists. So that in that way, it was probably pretty positive. But yeah, it was really good. We were teammates all through that Ruby Mountain Wrestling when we were in elementary school and middle school. And that was cool to kind of share that time with him. And then in high school, I was able to be on the same team with him for a year, which was pretty neat as well. Yeah, it was nice. It was good to spend time with him, and yeah, it was good.
Special, man. Let's talk Gunnison. Let's talk Western. Like I said, I've had so many people that have recommended, me have you on the podcast, specifically folks that went to Western, kind of in that time frame, if you will. Now, when you were at Western, did you run track and field, or were you on the trail team? Like, what were you doing there?
No. I I was on the trail team. It was super last minute because I heard I knew Emily Hogg had coached me my freshman year at College of Idaho, and I knew that she had gone to Western for a master's degree in high altitude exercise physiology. So that's kind of what put it on the map for me. And then I took that gap year, fought fire. And then after that fire season kind of ended up, I was like, okay, do I keep fighting fire? Or do I go back to school? Kind of like, what do I want to do? And last minute, I put in my application for Western, got in, and then I still didn't know if I was going to do it or not. So I made a visit to Gunnison, met with the director of the HAP lab and the exercise science programs, had a really great time, really, really liked Gunnison. And while I was there, I figured I'd make a meeting with Josh Eberly for running on the trail running team with those guys. And it was good. I had good vibes all around. Really liked the program director for the exercise science. Really liked Josh. It just felt like a good decision. So yeah, that following fall, I ended up going to Gunnison, but I didn't really have a whole lot of interest in running the cross country and track because I had done my 4 years of cross country and track at C of I, and I felt like it would just be weird to be competing again on a new team. It just didn't feel right. And I had done a 50K the previous fall, and then I had done the Cirque series leading up to that fall semester at Western. So I was very much interested in trail running and getting more onto the trails. So that was definitely, that I felt like that would be a good decision for me.
Dude, that's crazy that you had Emily Hoggett as a coach. Was she like, at that point in time, was she already on the Terrex team and like running for them, like living out there?
No. She graduated the year before my freshman year at College of Idaho, and she was hanging around Caldwell coaching, and she started running trails and everything. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a cool experience. Emily's the best, incredible coach. Nothing but good things to say about her. But one of the nicest human being that I've ever met in my entire life. It was great having her as a coach. Super, super supportive. Nothing but good things to say. That was pretty neat. But yeah, she was just getting into the trail scene at that point, I think. And she was always doing long runs in the Waihees and stuff. So like, oh, like, where'd you run this weekend in the Waihees? Like, oh, yeah, I figured. But yeah, it was cool to kind of just look up to her and see what she was doing. And that was probably an influence as well to attract interest on the trail scene because I knew of the trails. My best friend ran ultras when he was in high school. So I knew of it and I saw more people doing it. I was like, okay, this is something I want to do. So it's been good. The trails are cool, man.
It's the greatest sport on earth, dude. I love the sport.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Can you talk a little bit about, I think, so we've had some trail athletes on that were like understudies of Eberly's, but maybe you can talk a little bit more and paint the picture of like the kind of support that you get being on the trail team at Western, like what you get from it, like how I'll let you take it away, but just kind of just explain that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I didn't know a whole lot of the program when I met with Josh. Didn't know exactly what it looked like. Didn't know that they're sponsored by Terrex. I was going in blind. So I had the assumption that it was just kind of like a club sport thing that you just kind of go there and you just hang out and you run races. And I didn't realize how much the school supports that team. And I didn't realize how much Terrex supports that team. So I was blown away when I got there, how much support that they received and how serious that they took it. We did core twice a week, lifts twice a week, workouts twice a week, long run on Saturday, and we could take the vans to either Salida or Montrose. And it was serious, but there was so much autonomy as well. I really think that program it breeds a lot of success because it doesn't feel like you're forced to do things. There's such a team element that you're able to. There's that element of camaraderie, and you're hanging out with your friends, and you're doing long runs in the Elks and up in Crested Butte, and you're doing long runs in Salida over the winter, and it just felt like fun. But yeah, they're doing some great things over there. Super grateful for my time. Super grateful for my relationship with Josh. He's a really great coach, but more importantly, he's a really great person. But again, nothing but good things to say about that program and the oversight that it gets.
Maybe you can help paint this picture too, and I guess this is out of genuine curiosity, and we could talk about Terrex later because we'll get into that. But like, I'm just kind of want to understand better the degree of like the support that like Terrex gives to that team, because it's almost like a feeder program. Like, there's so many athletes that have come out and they're now, you know, operating at a high level on the Terrex team. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty neat. I look at a guy like Jesherun. He went through the program for 4 years and now he's absolutely crushing it. But yeah, I think it's pretty neat because the Terrex does give a lot of support. They give us gear, they give us shoes, they take care of lodging at times. The school takes care of race entry. Sometimes Terrex takes care of race entry. So it's really, it covers a lot of bases, and you get a lot of support. And even that year that I was running trails before I got to Western, it's like, man, like, I have to pay for race entries and shoes, and it adds up, you know, and the travel, and you buy hotels, and then I walked in blind. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what kind of support Western got. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Thanks for painting that picture, because I was just genuinely curious, because there's nothing, at least to my knowledge, there is no thing like that in the country, where an outside brand is specifically sponsoring like a specific team for, to bring up a lot of these athletes and get them exposed to the sport. So it's quite unique. And yeah, like I said, I think outside of like Cetus Matrix, which is like a development team, and like maybe like the trail team, which is a little bit different. There's not that many things floating around where it's like a more of a collegiate program. So super cool. Dude, and like since then you've been on a tear, man. 50K national title holder last year, at what is it, the Tamalpais 50K or something like that, or Tampalus 50K? I can't pronounce it. I just screw it up. Tamalpa.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously some serious finishes at Broken Arrow you've had, Infinite Trails you went to go race at. Like, dude, you've been on an absolute tear lately. Let's talk. I do want to dive a little bit into your 2023 and 2024 season, and just try to get a gauge on like what you have planned for 2025. Because I saw you sign up obviously for Black Canyon, and then as well for what is it, the Broken Arrow 46K, which we'll get into. Before we get into the seasons, though, I'm kind of want to gauge interest. Like, if Black Canyon goes the way you want it to go, is that like golden ticket something you'd be pursuing? Is that like an option out there for you?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was on the podium at Black Canyon, I'll take that ticket, for sure. I'm excited for that race. I'm interested in the 100-mile distance. I debuted in my 100-mile last year at I'm Tough. And those races are a different beast. They're pretty cool. You have to go to a place that sub ultra or even 50Ks, they don't take you there. You need to be super fit, and you have to be really mentally ready for that. And I like that challenge. I think it's pretty special, and it's unique in that fact. So yeah, I think that would be something that I would pursue.
And you've had like so much success, kind of like everything you touched, man. I mean, like your Broken Arrow finishes have been stellar. So you obviously can compete at that distance. You just went and smashed the 50K national title, so like everything kind of lines up. I don't know, for, obviously I'm Tough. You had a great race as well on the podium. So it's like, it kind of adds up. I'd love to see you smash something like a Black Canyon and, and go on to do it. But obviously I'm a little partial to sub ultra, so we want to keep it too. Let's talk Broken Arrow, man. I know you've got some aspirations for Worlds, I would imagine. Is that a major goal for 2025 as well?
Yeah, I would like to. I'm just taking it one step at a time at this point. I want to see how Black Canyon goes, and then kind of go from there. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse too early, but yeah, that would be a dream come true to represent the United States of America, the greatest country in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I see myself. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I would like to make the 80K team if that was a possibility. But yeah, I would be happy to make any team on that world stage. But yeah, we'll see. Just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah. I mean, dude, and like you've shown, over the past couple of years, like you've had absolute lights out performance. What did you run? 4th place and 6th place as well at the 46K. So like you can compete amongst the best with them. So like, it's not like that's going to be a problem. So, the odds are good, looking good there. It's just going to be execution, and that's going to be a fun race, man. I can't believe how many people and just like how competitive that weekend is going to be between the Golden Trail Series and then the World's qualifiers. Like, it's going to be bananas.
Yeah, if that 46K is very stacked. There's some big names in that one, and I love to compete. Yeah, that would be amazing. I think that race is probably the most competitive 50K that the United States has ever seen. I can't think of another race that has as many top tier names as it does. But yeah, it's attracting a lot of great competition. And Broken Arrow does a bang up job. They're an amazing race organization. They take care of their athletes. They give out good prize money. They're doing good things over there for sure.
Yeah, it's a great event. Absolutely, it's like a stellar event. So are you in Nevada? Do you live now, or do you live in Idaho?
Yeah, I spent the summer in Idaho.
That's right.
Last year, I was living in the family cabin, just training my butt off for the summer racing season. But yeah, now I'm back in Nevada, doing some high school coaching this spring. Doing the distance crew for Spring Creek Track and Field. So I'm pretty excited for that, get back to the community a little bit. So yeah, I'm living here in Elko, and yeah, just really enjoying my time back home where all of this really began. It's pretty special.
Dude, there's something to be said about that too, man. I feel like when you're back home, you're comfortable where you're at and doing what you're doing, it's easy to put your head down and focus on the goals ahead. It's easier to kind of like drown out outside noise and I don't know, just like, just focus without anything else going on, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's cool too. I grew up in Spring Creek and I'm living in Elko, and there's so many hidden gems back in there that I think pretty much everybody overlooks, but there's really cool country back there. And even when I grew up in Spring Creek, because like I didn't really think much of Elko and the trails over there, and just finding hidden gems here and there. It's like, oh man, this is some cool training grounds, and you get a little bit of everything. It's high desert. There's mountains here and there. We're having a pretty mellow winter over here, so a lot of the trails are still open. UTV trails are open, so it's been fun training.
It's funny, man. I follow Darren Thomas on Instagram. He's an interesting cat, cool dude. And his like what is it? His Instagram. So he's putting up like videos and stuff of like the high desert, and it's pretty dope. So
yeah, you're talking about Darren.
Yeah, dude. Darren's always taking videos of these like mad remote places all over. Kind of all over Nevada, and I was like, damn, like this is crazy. Like you're in like in the middle of nowhere. He's like taking videos of like these like dump locations and like these remote mountains, all kinds of stuff. I was like, dude, Nevada's a really cool place. Like, let me ask you this: is it Nevada or is it Nevada or Nevada?
It's Nevada.
Nevada.
I grew up Nevada. I think the Nevada comes from, because I don't know this for sure, this is speculation, but Nevada comes from the Spanish word Nevada, which means snow-capped. So I'm pretty sure the Spanish pronunciation of Nevada is Nevada. But yeah, we grew up saying Nevada, and we'd make fun of anybody that said Nevada. So, but I don't know. I don't know. I know it as Nevada, but I don't know if there's a correct pronunciation, especially if you look at the Spanish pronunciation.
Bro, it's a beautiful place. We, my wife and I, she's my fiance at the time, we went to Broken Arrow. I think it was 2021 or 22. I can't remember. And rather than fly from Reno to catch a connecting flight, because we had to fly out for a wedding, we decided to drive drive from Olympic Valley down to Vegas. It was like a 12-hour day, but like we drove pretty much, down through the whole state, and I was amazed. I was like, wow, this is a truly beautiful place. Like, there's nothing out there. It is in the middle of nowhere. You drive through like all the military bases and like near Area 51 and all that shit, and I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. So
yeah, it's pretty neat, and it doesn't get a lot of love. Darren does cool stuff. He like his stuff in Jarbidge that he did earlier this fall, or maybe it was late summer. But that stuff is really neat. It doesn't get a lot of attention. But yeah, he's always doing cool stuff around here. Yeah. There's hidden gems everywhere.
He's got an interesting job. I think he's a geologist, so I guess they send him to like remote places to do like environmental testing and stuff like that to make sure there's like no contamination, which is, I don't know, kind of cool stuff,
Yeah, for sure. He'll be at Black Canyon as well, so it'll be good seeing him there.
Oh yeah, dude. What's the nerves like for the race? I mean, it's only like a week out, so like, are you nervous at all? Because this is a big deal. This is a big race. I mean, I can't imagine like if it were me, if I'd be more nervous than something like a Broken Arrow, because obviously I'd put more emphasis on that. But like what are the nerves like going in?
Yeah, I did the 50K last weekend, and I was like, oh, I'm not nervous for this. This is great. Like, it's just fun, But yeah, just looking at the start list, and it's stacked. Black Canyon's a great race. It's attracting a lot of great pros. It's pretty exciting. The nerves are there. It's funny. It's like a little over a week out, and yeah, the nerves are starting to bubble a little bit. But it's good. That means that you care about it. But yeah, I'm just excited and just kind of see where you're at for the season and compete. It'll be good. Yeah. I'm nervous for this one.
It's a sick race, man. I mean, either way, like it's just like, I feel like it's fun to mix it up with the best of the best. I mean, you got Eli going out. Seth will be out there. There's some killers, dude. So it's gonna be it'd be fun to follow along. I don't know. I'm like cautious because I'm a sub ultra podcast and try to keep in that lane. Like, I don't like to do race previews for stuff, but I'm like, you bet your ass I'm going to be glued to the live stream the entire time, like cheering my friends on.
Yeah, it'll be good. You got Eli, you got Seth, Anthony Costales beat Tom Evans a couple years ago at Black Canyon. He's no joke.
He's a beast.
Yeah, absolute beast. I think Hans is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think he's a solid runner. There's so many guys out there. Darren's going to be out there. Ryan Raff. The list goes on. It's going to be exciting. It'll be fun.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this. So I've been meaning to bring up Adidas Terrex. I kind of gently danced on it before, but you signed a professional contract with Adidas Terrex this year. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, like, dude, can you talk about that experience? Like, it's kind of life-changing. Like what do you think so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's fun to have a team. That's their focus, is making a great trail team, and having that kind of support among athletes and competitors and your teammates, and that's pretty special. But yeah, I feel pretty grateful, pretty fortunate to be in the place I am. It's another one of those things, like nothing that I planned or expected, just kind of like fell into my lap, and just really grateful. It's exciting. I just want to do the best I can and represent the brand the best I can. And we'll see where it goes.
Can you talk a little bit about obviously I don't want to give away too much inside baseball, but like maybe the process as well, because like definitely being at Western and kind of gives you a solid introduction, plus like Eberly and stuff like that. Was Josh like a really good, almost like a mentor in a lot of ways to be able to understand like, like were you able to bounce questions off of him about like, about contract stuff and all these different things? Like, was that a huge help for you?
Yeah, Josh is an open door. I don't think that I would be where I am today without the relationships that I've established over the years either. Like having Emily Hoggood in my corner, being a friend with her, having Josh, being on the Western team. Like if none of that happened, I don't think I'd be in the place that I am today. So super grateful for those relationships and experiences. But yeah, just feel lucky for sure. But yeah, just good people in the corner. Like Josh. Josh is an amazing person, great coach, great mentor in all things training, racing. His door's always open, and then having Emily. Just feeling lucky.
What is and obviously I know you're pretty new into the, I guess you could say, the role in a lot of ways, but like, have you been able to interact much with the team? Like, how does that team atmosphere feel like? Because I feel like out of any brand, I feel like Adidas, man, like if they're doing one thing right, it's like that fostering that like team atmosphere, the team relationship feeling, at least from the outside. So
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you said, a little bit new to the role. My first real glimpse. Well, I was there at Western, so I got to see the team and kind of make some connections there and just meet people. And that was a great experience. I think the first true glimpse into it was Infinite Trails this year, and staying with the teammates and hanging out in Gastein Valley. It was pretty cool. It was great. Like I showed up there, never traveled out of the country before, didn't know what to expect. Obviously wanted to race and compete and just kind of give my best, but I didn't know what to expect otherwise. And yeah, just super welcoming people, friendly people, down to earth. And it, I don't know, it just felt like everybody cared. It wasn't all about them, and it wasn't some self-absorbed, everybody was there for you and supportive, and that was pretty neat. So I got a glimpse into that, and that was pretty special. So, man, I really want to be a part of this. But yeah, that was a great experience, and just establishing some of those relationships and connections was truly special.
dude, it's amazing. And I feel like they do such a good job too at like bringing you guys along. Like they don't kind of throw you to the sharks immediately. It's more so like, I don't know, they just do a really good job at development. Like watching what they did with the Jeshron, like his development in the sport has been absolutely amazing. And I feel like they played a huge role in helping him kind of get to that place. And I feel like you're kind of 2.0 as well, where they're bringing you along, and now you're competing at that really at the highest level on the American side. And I would imagine pretty soon, this is kind of the next question I was going to go with, is like, do you have plans, or do they have plans to like bring you guys out to like Chamonix for like OCC and stuff like that? Or is there any plans like for you to go race in Europe again?
Yeah, I think I'll go over there at some point this summer. I won't be going to OCC. Don't have a qualifier or anything, and there's other races that um, are pulling interest right now. But yeah, they'll have all those guys set up to the T. They take care of us really well. Yeah, I don't know. Thinking about Austria again, Infinite Trails, and then yeah, if there's any possibility, maybe Ultra Town Cape Town,
Sweet
or
race.
Ultra Trail Cape Town. Excuse me. But yeah, I would like to see some new places and kind of experience other cultures and locations. But the Cape Town race, I think that would be really, really cool.
What's your bucket list race? Like what's something that like you haven't done yet, maybe besides Cape Town, that like is like high on the list? Like for me, like dude, like Series and All I think is like my number one, or something like that, or Ultrax Extreme or something like that. But like I don't know, like what is something that like really pulls your soul, that like you feel like I gotta go do this at some point?
Yeah, there's a couple that really, really get me excited. I think CCC at some point, that's a race that I want to do. I don't know when. I don't have a qualifier planned or anything this year. Not yet anyway. That race looks super cool. Transvolcania is another race that looks really, really neat, has some great history. The course looks amazing. The style of the race is pretty special. I mean, it's point to point across an island and big mountain, big vert. That would be cool. Yeah, there's a bunch. Western's always been a dream. UTMB at some point would be a dream. Yeah, there's a lot of races that hold a lot of interest for sure.
Let me ask you this: what prompted you to do I'm Tough? I'm just curious because I was going to ask you if you put your name in the hat for Hard Rock this year with a qualifier or with a ticket or whatever.
Yeah, no, I actually didn't put my name into Hard Rock. I'm Tough was humbling for sure. I think that I need maybe a year or two to kind of get some miles under the belt, build the legs resilience up. I don't think I'm quite ready to compete at the level that I would want to compete at Hard Rock. But that's another race that is incredibly inspiring that I would love to do someday. But yeah, I'm Tough. I just wanted to race 100-miler, man. Like I think that's the pinnacle to ultra running, to trails. And yeah, I was thinking about, well, I put in my name for the lottery at Leadville, didn't get in, was thinking maybe I would do the Leadville marathon to get a spot, but that kind of conflicted with Broken Arrow this year. And I didn't really I think it's Silver Alpine or something like that, the 50-miler over there in Leadville for a qualifier.
Yes. Silver Rush.
Yeah. I didn't know if I'd be recovered from Broken Arrow, so there's conflict there. So I wanted to do a 100-miler. I was looking at Run Rabbit, but I'm Tough's kind of in the backyard. We'd go up for vacation in Cascade every summer, and I had been in those mountains, but I hadn't explored all of them. And my girlfriend got a job in McCall. Okay, I think that is going to be the race. So everything kind of lined up, stars aligned, and I decided to do that one. But yeah, I just wanted to run a 100-miler. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. So yeah.
It's a great choice, dude. It's exciting because like we haven't seen like a huge elite field go to I'm Tough in a few years. Like Jason Schlarb, I think, and Jeff Colt might have done it in the last like handful of years, but not too many guys have like gone to compete at a high level there. So it excites me to see like, you know, more people doing like, I don't want to call it a grassroots race because it's very much like a really awesome course, like a very underratedly cool course. I personally have never been out there, but I know a lot about that race. So yeah, no, I'm glad you did it. It's a great choice.
Yeah, I am too, man. It was awesome. It has that grassroots feel. The course is incredible. It has a little bit of everything. There's like 20,000+ feet of climbing in it. You get some easy trails. You get some really punchy, steep trails. Everything's between like 5,000 feet and 8,000 feet. So it's not super high altitude, but you're kind of getting up there. But yeah, it just drew a lot of interest. I think that's a really neat race. And I didn't want to do 100 that was just kind of, I wanted something that grabbed my attention and inspired me. And that was definitely one of them. I didn't want to do like Javelina, those looped course on desert flat. I wanted to do something that was exciting for me at the time. And I'm Tough was definitely was that.
Let me ask you this: what's your motivation for racing? What's your motivation for being in the mountains? Is it more competition, or is it like testing yourself, like you versus you, or is it more so just enjoying the landscape?
Yeah, I think training and racing for me are on polar opposites of the spectrum. Training wise, I want to be in the mountains, enjoying my life on this planet that is so much finite. The mountains are special. Feel closer to God. racing, on the other hand, is I want to get the most out of myself that I possibly can. And if the results are there, that's fine. But I find so much more validation out of pulling every ounce of energy that I can in that race, than winning. I want to get the most out of myself. And if you get the most out of yourself, the results will come. So that's kind of my motivation for the racing aspect of it. But I think that it's fun because you kind of have those two polar opposites. Like you can be in the mountains. There's that spiritual element. You get to be outdoors in the sun, enjoying your time. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you're just wringing yourself out, turning yourself inside out. So I like it. It's cool.
It's a fun feeling, right? It's nothing quite like destroying yourself. It's funny, dude. I laugh about this a lot because like obviously like most of the people I interact with, or a large number of the people I interact with are runners or people that compete at a high level, right, in the sport. And then you talk to normal people and or people at work for instance, for me, like I work in finance and accounting and this is nothing against them. It's just that like most of them will never have any idea what it feels like to absolutely get every last drop out of themselves. And sometimes it like bothers me because I feel like, oh man, you're doing yourself a disservice to go chase something like that or like go for that like one time in your life, and it's like we do it all the time. It's fun. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's a disservice to kind of settle in and just be comfortable all the time. You don't get your best self out of that. I think you always should push yourself. And it doesn't have to be an athletic avenue. I think it could be intellectual or academic, but I think that striving for excellence and striving for greatness, I think that's what you get the best self. You get your best self out of that. And that's something that I would like to strive for.
What are your goals in the sport? Like, do you have anything on your vision board or on your wall that like you're working towards, or is like any one specific goal?
I don't think there's one specific goal. I don't know. I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time, seeing where this crazy journey takes me. Like I said, I want to first and foremost want to get the most out of myself that I can. And if that road ends at 30, that's fine. If it ends later, that's okay too. But yeah, I just want to be present in the moment and try to get the most out of myself that I can. Meet as many cool people as I can, see as many cool places as I can. I think results and external validation it just kind of comes with the sport, but that's nothing that I'm really striving for at this moment.
Dude, I love that answer. You got a bright future, my friend. How old are you? You're like mid-20s, right?
25.
Yeah. 25? Oh man, you got a long way to go. That's exciting. Like you have like so much runway in the sport. It's going to be cool to watch your career progress and as you grow in the sport. Dude, what's your situation like with coaching? Do you self-coach? Do you work with a coach? Like what do you do there?
Yeah, I'm self-coaching myself right now. And it's not that I don't think that, I've had great coaches in this, Emily, Todd Mulkey here in Spring, my high school coach, amazing people. Mike Anderson at College of Idaho, learned so much from him. Josh, those guys are just wealths of knowledge. And I got the exercise science degree and I love playing with things. So I'm just doing self-coaching at the moment. And with that being said, all of those coaches have influenced me in various ways. So kind of just pulling my favorite parts from each of their philosophies and just kind of playing with things, tinkering with things. And I think I think it's been working pretty well for me. And I enjoy having that autonomy of kind of deciding what I want to do or making a plan, that sort of thing. It's pretty exciting. I think writing the plan and having a vision for the preparation is just as fun as the actual preparation in the race. So I've really been enjoying that aspect of it.
I feel like that's such a fun aspect of the process. Like, I don't know. I almost enjoy, like, there's a time to race, and that's a really fun time as well. But like the process itself, and I just started self-coaching myself like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And I was a little intimidated at first, and then I started putting it together, and I was like, man, like this, it works better for my schedule, which is insanely busy. But being able to do that and being like almost like a mad scientist, like there's something to it. It definitely helps. And you get a lot out of it too when you start nailing workouts and feeling really fit. And it's like, wow, seeing yourself progress. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoy it. And it's, you're always learning, and you can make tweaks here and there, and you just kind of adjust and pivot and go from there. But yeah, I found what works for me. I don't think it works for everybody, but it's not, at the end of the day, it's not rocket science. Like if you want to be good at running, you just run more and don't overdo it. But yeah, it's fun. It's really rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, let's get into some closing questions. I'm so curious to see who inspires you.
A lot of people inspire me, and I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I think there's certain characteristics that I have a certain affinity for. One of those being just work ethic and hard work. People that encapsulate that, I'm super inspired by. My dad's a hard worker, super inspired by his work ethic. I mean, some of the greatest athletes of all time, they obviously have to have a great work ethic. I inspired by those individuals for sure. People that have a vision for excellence and a strive for greatness, inspired by them as well. And I think it's not just running. I'm inspired by Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and Lance Armstrong, and those guys that they achieved greatness, and they kind of have that winner's mentality. I like that. I think that's pretty special. Yeah, a lot of people inspire me. Steve Prefontaine on the running side. Oh my gosh, that guy's a legend. And I really he's a great runner, and he did some really great things, but I think his philosophy behind the sport was pretty cool. Like one of his quotes is something like, what is it? It's a race is a work of art that any person can interpret. What is it? Oh, it can be interpreted in as many ways as they're capable of understanding. And that really rings true to me. I think he had a really interesting take on performance being an art form rather than a quantifiable VO2 max or lactate threshold. Like he wanted to put on a performance, and he saw himself when he was running a race, he saw it as a piece of art. And that really resonates with me as well. But yeah, so many people. I've gotten so much great support over the years. My coaches in college and high school, and my parents, my girlfriend inspires me every day, just to be a better person in general. But yeah, just the list goes on. I don't think there's any one individual.
Dude, that's a beautiful answer. Do you watch a lot of other, like, are you a sports guy? Like, do you follow any other sports, like any team sports or anything like that, or?
No, not really. I'll sit down and watch a football game with my grandparents or my dad or whatever, but I don't have a favorite team or anything. I love sport. I love watching sports, but I don't follow strictly on the basketball or the football or anything like that. But yeah, I like sports.
Yeah, that's why we're a part of the greatest sport on earth, man.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your walkout song, dude? Before a race, like what are you listening to?
Oh, I don't. When I was running, I'm tough. I didn't let myself listen to music until mile 55, and then I put on a Revivalist album. I think it was what was the album called? I can't remember. But that got me going. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't think I have a specific walkout song. You're Gonna Go Far, Kid. That's a great song.
That's a good song.
90s punk rock. Oh, great. I think that used to be my walkout song for College of Idaho track. I'd listen to that before my races. That's the when I started listening to that song, I listened to that song before I PR'd in my 5K, which is still my PR in my 5K. So that's a good one. Yeah.
Nice. Are you bringing music with you to Black Canyon? Like, are you gonna wait till like mile 55 to to listen to music for the last 7 miles, or like what's your take on that?
I haven't decided yet. Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I think I will have headphones ready at Table Mesa if it's going to be a close race, or I might just have them if I'm struggling. I haven't decided yet. I might put in music earlier than that too, but yeah, nothing set in stone yet.
Are you bringing Pacers with you? Are you doing Pacers or no? No.
No,
I like
no
that.
Pacers. Hopefully, I'm racing somebody.
That's right. That's right. I like it, man. All right, dude. Well, I'm trying to think. Did I miss any questions? All right. Oh, all right. Last one. I usually switch them up between aliens, Bigfoot, and AI. I'm going to ask you about what was the last few? I did AI. So let's do Bigfoot. What's your take on Bigfoot, dude?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked me the Bigfoot question. I don't know. I don't know if he's real, but I think he could be real. And I think that there's like serious backwoodsmen that have Bigfoot stories. There's a lot of Indian stories around this neck of the woods that talk about Bigfoot and big hairy creatures. The Jarbidge, there's a translation for Jarbidge as big hairy creature that lives in the canyons.
No way. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's two translations for it. One is something about evil canyons, and the other one is big hairy creature that lives in the canyons, depending on the translation source. But yeah, I think like Les Stroud, he's had some encounters. There's biblical references to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So, and I think, I don't know, man, like a lot of the sightings, they end up being around the Cascades range, but that's some remote area.
So
back in
remote.
there.
Yeah.
And super remote. There's there's trails. There's certainly trails back in there, but man, that's only, how much percentage of that area is accessible by trail versus how much area there actually is surrounding that Cascade range. Yeah. So I guess what I'll leave it as is I don't know if he's real, but I certainly could believe. I wouldn't be surprised if he was real. I'll leave it at that.
I like that, man. That's a good answer. So I have two things to add to this. First one is, yes, like I just randomly was in the Pacific Northwest and did the Lewitt Trail and ran around Mount St. Helens. But like just to get there,
nice.
It is so back there, dude. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
And there's only, and it's like, it's not like Colorado where it's like very sparsely vegetated. No, it's like dense forest. Like you will get super lost. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. It would totally not blow my mind if they like, because it's just so like, and there's just only so many forest roads that you put back there. So I could see that.
Yep.
The second thing
100%.
that I was going to add to it was I saw a random reel on Jarbidge, and then I saw obviously Darren post about Jarbidge on his Substack and Instagram recently, and I was like, it's like the most remote area in the United States, I believe, or something like that. It's like out there.
Yeah, it's out there. Yeah, we used to deer hunt right around Charleston, which is right in that vicinity of Jarbidge, but it's beautiful country. Mary's River is right there. Mary's River Wilderness. Super cool country. yeah, it has some cool history as well. It's a special place for sure. There's hidden gems everywhere around here.
Yeah, man.
So
It's a cool state, man. Well, listen, man, I don't want to take up all your evening. I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so excited we finally got to do this. Dude, best of luck at Black Canyon. I'm so excited for your future in the sport. Like, it's going to be really fun over the next few years to see you grow and develop in the sport and see where you take this. So I appreciate it.
yeah,
Thank you.
man. I appreciate you having me. But before we go, I have to ask you, what's your race schedule looking like this year? What are you signed up for?
Oh, dude, I'll be doing so I re-signed with Sportiva this year, so I'm on a 2-year deal with them, and there's a nice little incentive to do the Cirque Series races, which I'm coincidentally super excited to do. So I will be, I'll be at all the Cirque Series races this year, probably most of them. So definitely going to be, and I'll be at Sunapee. So I'll do Sunapee, Cirque Cannon, Cirque, what is that, Killington. So both the Northeast races. Probably not going to do Snowbird just because of scheduling, but I will be going finally to Alaska to do Alaska, which I'm stoked on.
Yes.
Go back to Alta. I had a great race at Alta last year. I really like that course, so I'll go do Cirque Alta. Maybe do A Basin, we'll see, and then definitely go to Washington to do Crystal. And then I'm gonna like pad everything in there, like figure out like, all right, I gotta throw in some like a 27K here and there, like some longer races. Still a little mixed on Broken Arrow just because like there's just so much back and forth that it's like coast to coast, and it's like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit that in. So I'm still on the fence with that. If I was to go, that would be probably more of like a commentary / like media thing, rather than like racing. So I'm trying to like balance the two and figure out like, all right, well, what's going to be good to go to from a media perspective so we can cover the sub ultra aspects of the sport. And then what's going to be fun to go race that has me super excited. So, and I'll be at the Rut too. I forgot about that. I'll be at the Rut.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh man, that's a good schedule, man. Julian puts on some good races and he's a good dude. Yeah, that's fun. I like Alta's course as well. That's a great course.
Yeah, you've had a good race there, dude.
Yeah, I had a pretty fun battle with an OCR guy there, Rylan. It was a sprint finish for third, and he out sprinted me.
Oh, did he really?
But
bastard.
yeah, I know. That guy can run downhills like oh man, he's a great downhill runner. But yeah, great course. Super stoked for you. That sounds like a super epic race schedule. And yeah, thanks, congrats on the Sportiva deal.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, it's exciting, man. I like this off season. I've like really, haven't really played on the trails as much as I would have liked to. It's more so just been focusing on getting fitness, dude. Like trying to get as fit and as strong as possible, and hopefully that translates. If it doesn't, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. So we'll see.
It'll translate. You're good, man. Yeah, I think you'll be golden.
Oh, appreciate it, dude. Well, listen, man, have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for coming on. And dude. What'd you guys think? Oh man, what a fun episode. I really want to thank Cole so much for coming on the podcast. It was a great conversation. And just, really excited for his future. I think he's going to do massive things in the sport. And it's, really want to wish him the absolute best of luck tomorrow at the Black Canyon 100K, as well as the rest of his 2025 season with some sights set on either getting that golden ticket or chasing the world's qualifier at Broken Arrow. So big things to come from Cole. Guys, before you get going, hop on Instagram and give Cole a follow. You can find him at CCAMPBELL. That's going to be CCampbell_01. It's also going to be linked in the show notes, so you could just click on that and give him a follow. Lots of cool stuff on his feed. There's definitely going to be some exciting things to come. So very, very last but not least, if you guys enjoyed this episode and you happen to be listening to this on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, please give us a 5-star rating and review, and potentially share this. That would be awesome. The goal is to, highlight the profiles of these amazing athletes, and we can't do that or cover the scene without your support. So I really want to thank you guys. Very, very last but not least, I really want to thank Ultimate Direction as well for being the official hydration solution sponsor for this episode and for the podcast going forward in 2025. If you guys happen to be in the market for a new vest, a new belt, apparel or anything like that, new water bottles, handhelds, you name it, Ultimate Direction has you covered. If you use the code SteepStuffPod, again, that's SteepStuffPod on ultimatedirection.com, that's going to get you 25% off your cart. So, guys, have a great rest of your week. Have a great long run. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure you'll be glued to the Black Canyon live stream like I'll be when I get back from my workout on Saturday morning. So, it's going to be a fun weekend for the sport. So, enjoy, guys. Take care.